After winning 10,000 chess games, including many Grandmasters, I have nailed it down to 5 crucial principles that you have to use in your very next game. Here is exactly how it works. You start with focusing on your development. This is the crucial thing. Don't put too much attention into the opening theory. It's not that important. If you're under 2000 ELO, you are able to beat anyone without too much memorization. The opening is important, it's true. But you have to focus on the ideas instead of the memorizing a lot of lines, because your opponent might play a lot of different stuff. By the way, I have a huge special deal on my opening course, 10-day opening master, where you can build a complete and holistic opening repertoire, both for white and black, all in one course. If you join right now, you get a full month of live coaching with me included, completely for free. Check the link in the description. Don't miss it. It's absolutely crazy. I'm waiting to help you improve your chess, analyze your games, play together with you, so you can apply this beautiful opening. It's called the Coley-Zukertort system into your own games and deliver so many checkmates. I love this opening because it's universal, it's solid, you can play it every time against everyone, so you get a lot of experience. It's not mainstream, so your opponent wouldn't expect it, and so you have much more experience than he has, and you save a lot of time. You already know what to do, where the pieces belong. You pretty much don't care what your opponent is doing, just follow the threats. If he is creating something dangerous for you, take that into account. But the huge advantage, the main advantage of this opening is that you already know what to do in the middle game. The next crucial principle that you have to apply in your very next game to beat your opponent is to have one strategic idea that you implement. If you are gonna try to achieve a lot of different goals, you're gonna achieve nothing. So one key strategic plan. In this case, it just delivering a checkmate. Here's exactly how it works. We want to place one of our bishops on d3 and the second one on b2. To stop them from playing c5, by the way, a very typical idea that black might have, we play b3 first. We take it back. Whenever they take, this is never a problem. Remember, one bishop goes to d3, another one to b2. Knight c6, no problem. Let's play bishop b2. One idea I always want you to watch out is this move e5. Never allow your opponents to play e5. Let's see what they do. Queen to d6. Okay, that is a little bit weird, but again, you see that they might have been able to play e5 if we wouldn't prepare for it. We wouldn't play bishop to b2. Now it's not possible. The next logical step would be to play bishop d3, but every time you see this knight on c6, you have to think in terms of your opponent's ideas. It can go to b4, which is very, very annoying. How do you understand your opponent's ideas? Well, you think in terms of the CCTA system. Incredibly powerful. I encourage you to use it every single time in every one of your games. Checks, captures, threats, and active moves. And of course, you use it both for yourself and for your opponent. You never play chess alone. This is the mistake most of the chess players make. They don't think enough about the opponent's ideas and threats. And so the knight is not threatening to give you a check. It's not threatening to take anything. The d4 pawn is protected. But it threatens to go to b4, which is fine for now, but if our bishop is there, it's gonna attack it and we never want to lose it. So to stop that, you simply play the move a3. Now the knight can never go there, and you're ready to play bishop d3. That's exactly what we are doing. Knight to e4, okay, he's playing active, but he also makes more moves with the same piece. Please remember, in the opening, the first crucial principle is to focus on the development, to develop every single one of your pieces as fast as possible. And to achieve that, you need to follow the golden principle. It will help you so much. Just do it every single time. One piece, one move. Very simple. Unless you have developed all of your pieces, don't make two moves with the same piece without a very good reason. For example, if your opponent is attacking your piece, yes, you have to do something about it. But otherwise, like here, knight to e4, nobody was attacking this knight. You wouldn't make this move in our system. But at least it's a move forward. It's kind of an achievement. You never want to make those passive moves if it's a second move. All right, bishop g4. That is quite a typical maneuver. We need to know how to react to it. First, we can always play the move h3. If they take, we get a pair of bishops advantage, which is always nice. If they go backwards, however, then we can even play g4 and push it forward. All right, takes. Now we have a pair of bishops. How do we take advantage of that? First of all, we create as many threats for our opponent as possible. This is the best strategy under 2000 if you want to beat everyone. Even beyond that, but under 2000 it works so well. You apply as much pressure on your opponent as possible. Here is exactly how you do that. You combine doing something useful for yourself as well as creating threats for your opponent. Queen takes f3 is dealing with the threat of my opponent. First. Second, it's developing a new piece, the first move that my queen is making. And third, it's creating a threat against my opponent, taking the knight. So you want to combine as many positive things for your position in one move as possible. You don't want to play hope chess, where you make your position worse or make an unnecessary move just to create a threat and hoping for your opponent to blunder. No, you want to combine both at the same time. All right, he plays rook d8. Remember, doesn't matter how great your move is. Don't assume your opponent is just stupid, he has blundered that we are attacking this knight. No, think further. What kind of idea he might have with this move, rook to d8? It turns out the rook is attacking this pawn on d4, and if you are going to take on f4, he might be able to take on d4 in the end. I don't like that. So first, I'm going to just castle and make sure my king is safe, develop a new piece that can never be wrong. Notice, so far, I haven't made more than one move with one piece. All right, e5. That is an example of a bad decision. Typically, positionally, we are going to check it tactically, but you never want to open up the center too much if your king is still there. You want to get it to the safety zone first, and only then you're free to open up the center and be as active as possible. I'm worried about my opponent. I feel like he's going to be behind in terms of the development. Okay, now I have so many active opportunities. It's time for me to consider all of those and choose the best one. How do you do that? Well, you calculate the moves and then evaluate the resulting position. And the resulting position that feels the most promising one for you, you choose that one. How do you start considering the moves? Well, you use the CCTA system: checks, captures, threats, and active moves. I don't have any checks that are not blundering my queen anyway, but I have a lot of captures. I can take here on e5, I can take here on e4. If I take on e5, I'm not a big fan of it. He takes, well, I might reconsider that. He takes on e5, then I can even take it, queen takes, and then play bishop to b5, and he has to play king e7 or rook d7 and lose his rook. I mean, you never ever want to allow that. Yes, he's extremely active, my rook is hanging and stuff, but your king on e7 is so horrible. All right, let me think if it's the only option. I can, after takes and knight takes, immediately play bishop b5. And then he either has to play that move king e7 or he has to go backwards with the knight. And then I can just take that knight for free. I mean, that pawn on e4 for free. Continuing my attack and having this beautiful... Ah, wait, that doesn't work because my bishop is on b5. Yeah, it's important to calculate variations. We all make mistakes. But anyway, my bishop along this long diagonal would be fantastic. I can continue with rook e1, creating pressure over here. You cannot play bishop e7 that easily because bishop takes g7 is a problem. And finally, bishop takes e4 is possible. Then he takes it, queen takes. Cannot take with the pawn, it's pinned. Can take knight takes d4. You might be wondering, what is this magic board I use in my videos? It's called Chess.Not Evo. And I enjoy it so much, I have it for a year now. It completely transformed the way I play chess and I train chess, because I can play both on Lichess and iChess.com online, but on a real board. It's a completely different experience and I enjoy it a lot. I haven't had any major issues and that's my favorite product from Chess.Not, because I have everything in one place. I have my books here, I have my studies here, I have my games, but they have so many different products according to your needs and your budget. The best part is, of course, you can use the link in the description as well as the promo code journeytograndmaster to get a big discount on all Chess.Not products. Now, back to video. How do I continue from here? I can just play rook e1. He has a huge problem. f4 is coming. Or I can just play rook e1, from the very beginning right now. He takes on d4, takes, I take it on a4. Yeah, that variation I like less. Then I'm gonna start mistake on a5. Why do I want to do that? Because not only it deals with the threat, it takes away my opponent's active move, but also it improves my bishop's position. It's going to be so active along this long diagonal. You always want to optimize your pieces as much as it's theoretically possible. All right, now I had this choice between bishop takes and bishop b5. Generally, I never want to exchange my bishop for a knight in the open position. What the open position means? Well, one where the center is opened and the bishops have the opportunity to be very active, like it is definitely the case here. Normally, if you have a pair of bishops, you want to open up the position, but in this case, our opponent helped us to do that. Also in a situation where he has his king in the center, you never ever want to do that. So I'm gonna play bishop b5 check. Yes, my queen is under attack. You never ever forget about your opponent's threats. But yeah, this check is so annoying that he has to go backwards. And now we simply play rook e1. Again, we bring the second, we bring more pieces into the attack. This is always extremely, extremely good. Yes, the only exception we made, this move bishop to b5, that was the second move with the same piece. But that was for a very good reason. We gave a check, we forced our opponent to go back. This is the type of situation where you do justify making another move with the same piece. Otherwise, you always and always rather prefer developing a new one. Please religiously focus on that and your chess is going to be so much better. The next crucial principle that you have to follow in your games is having one strategic plan and then doing everything to achieve it. How do you find out what your plan should be in the first place? Well, you focus on the strengths of your position. In our case, it's a better development, and weaknesses of your opponent's position. In our case, it's this king in the center. This is a horrible place for it to be. And then you're trying to combine all of that together, how you can use your strengths to attack your opponent's weaknesses, and that would be your plan. So in our case, that would be use our pieces development, pieces activity to attack our opponent's king. I have several ways to do that. I can play something like knight c3 or knight d2 and attack that knight on e4, or I can play c4, attack that pawn on d5, which basically threatens to win the knight. I'm going to exchange the pawns and take on e4. I like both of them. Knight d2 has an advantage that it develops yet another piece and also threatens to win the queen. In every case, I think my opponent wants to play f5 and support that knight. And that is essential. It doesn't matter how great your move seems to be, you never make it unless you have thought about your opponent's response. All right, so c4, f5, and then I can play knight c3 and still continue attacking it. I think this is overwhelming for my opponents to deal with it. So I'm going to go for it. I'm going to combine all of the active ideas together because I need to use this momentum. This is the thing about having the initiative and an overwhelming position in terms of your development advantage. You have to use it, as otherwise it's going to disappear. If you give my opponent like 2 tempi to play bishop c5 and castles, my advantage is gone. He's having a very good position, creating a lot of threats. So I have my chance right now, and I have to take advantage of it. All right, now I have a choice between taking on d5 and playing knight c3, or play knight to c3 immediately. Again, I like both of the moves. Because if I take on d5, if he takes back with the rook, I even have bishop to c4, and I at least win an exchange. If I play knight to c3, I create a threat of just taking on d5. And if he takes on c4, then I'm going to take on e4. His knight is still pinned, so it cannot go anywhere. Yeah, I feel like this is the strongest, knight to c3. The drawback is that I'm not immediately threatening to take the knight, so he can play bishop c5 attacking my f2 pawn, but I think it works anyway, as I'm the first one to take there on d5. He takes on c4, but now I take on e4. I'm playing here against Sophia, 2300 rated Stockfish bot, and I think you can never ever survive if you have your king in the center and then you open up the position. This is a very instructive lesson for you to learn. Now, rook takes e4. My strategy finally succeeds. I'm winning the queen in the center. All of that happened because I developed my pieces as fast as possible and then focused religiously on one key strategic idea. This is exactly how you should do. And here, just to illustrate how important the development is, I'm gonna, of course, finish it and bring the last piece into the attack. This is always the best case scenario. You bring every single one of your pieces into the game before your opponent can even finish his development. This is the beauty. All right, now it's time to win the queen. Then maybe even queen to f7 or queen to f5. Yeah, probably everything wins here. Still, it's never too late to lose your game. For example, if you are not careful with your opponent's threats, you might lose this guy on e1 here. Queen f5, I like the move because it creates a pin, it attacks, it deals with a threat and creates a threat of my own. A lot of things that we achieve inside of one move. This is always the goal. Queen takes, or maybe rook takes also was great. King to c7, let's take this guy. The knight is always a very good defender for the king, so if you can eliminate it, helps a lot. Yeah, now that I think about it, I think rook takes e6 was a little bit more active. On the other hand, queen takes e6 is a check, which is normally a very good thing. gb5. To be successful in the attack, you want to connect as many pieces to the attack as possible, and this is exactly what I do. Into a6, how can I deliver a checkmate? Probably just bringing the rook into the attack. It would make it much simpler. King b6, rook b1. The more pieces you can bring, the better it's gonna get. Bishop b4. Yes, I think we just take with the queen. So this is exactly how you use these 5 powerful principles to destroy anyone under 2000 ELO and even beyond. Don't forget to take advantage of this amazing offer, a full month of live coaching with me completely for free. I'm going to analyze your games, play games with you, and you're going to build a holistic lifetime opening repertoire, both for white and black, all inside of one course. The link would be in the description. Take advantage of the offer before it's gone. And in this playlist, I share more about this amazing opening and how you can use it to crush anyone as white.